Somebody in this room has been waiting on a shift, waiting on a sign, waiting on God to crack the heavens and show you that your struggle has not been in vain. You've cried your tears, you've carried your burden, you've walked through nights that felt endless. But I came to announce to you tonight, your breakthrough is not coming, your breakthrough is here! This is the season where doors that were locked are about to swing open, where favor that was delayed is about to be released, where what the enemy tried to keep from you, God is about to put it right in your hands. You've been surviving, but get ready, because you're about to start thriving. Turn to somebody and tell Ems, this is my season of favor. This is my season of open doors. This is my moment of breakthrough. Breakthrough requires recognition of the moment. Many people miss the shift that God is orchestrating in their lives, not because the opportunity isn't there, but because they fail to discern it when it arrives. Breakthroughs rarely come wrapped in the package we expect. They don't always show up with trumpets blaring or in the exact form of the prayer we prayed. Sometimes they come disguised as a new relationship, an unexpected challenge, or even a closed door that pushes us into the right direction. To experience breakthrough, you must train your spirit to recognize the signs of change, the subtle movements of God that indicate He is aligning things in your favor. Recognition is the difference between walking into destiny and standing on the sidelines while the season passes by. In Scripture, when the children of Israel stood at the edge of the Red Sea, they had to recognize that the same rod Moses used to strike the waters in Egypt could now be used to part the sea. The moment was there, but without recognition, they might have turned back into bondage. Breakthrough is not only about what God does, it's about how you perceive it. This means sharpening your awareness, opening your spiritual eyes, and refusing to dismiss small beginnings. The job interview may not look like the dream, but it could be the door. The conversation you almost ignored might carry the seed of destiny. Breakthrough requires you to be sensitive, awake, and expectant, because God moves in seasons, and missing the season can cost you years. When you recognize the moment, you won't hesitate. You won't second guess. You'll step forward in faith because you know the atmosphere is charged. The heavens are open and your breakthrough is standing right in front of you. Favor positions you where effort alone cannot. There are places you can't work hard enough to reach, doors you can't push hard enough to open, and rooms you can't qualify enough to enter. That's where favor steps in. Favor is God's supernatural endorsement on your life. It places you in front of the right people at the right time. It elevates your voice above the noise of the crowd. It accomplishes in a moment what years of striving could never achieve. Effort is good, discipline is necessary, but favor takes you beyond the limits of human effort and ushers you into divine opportunity. When Joseph was brought before Pharaoh, it wasn't because he had a resume filled with palace experience. It was favor that pulled him out of prison and placed him in the highest seat of influence in Egypt. His talent mattered, yes, but there were many men who could interpret dreams. What made the difference was the favor of God. In the same way, when favor rests on you, you will find yourself chosen for positions others overlooked you for, receiving opportunities others thought you were unqualified to have. Favor doesn't excuse preparation, but it accelerates the results. Your skills are the seed, but favor is the rain that causes the seed to flourish in places you didn't even plant. People will look at you and wonder how you got there, how doors open for you so quickly, and the only answer will be that God's hand was upon you. That's why you can't afford to lean solely on your own strength. Hard work builds a foundation, but favor lifts you higher than your foundation can carry you. Favor positions you where your grind could never take you, and once you are there, no man can shut the door God has opened. Open doors demand courage to walk through. An open door by itself does not guarantee change. You can stand in front of it, admire it, even talk about it, but until you take the step to cross the threshold, the opportunity will remain unrealized. Too often people pray for doors to open, but when they finally swing wide, fear, doubt, or hesitation keeps them rooted in the same place. Courage is the key that takes you from access to possession. Without it, the blessing on the other side of the door will never be experienced. When the children of Israel stood before the promised land, the door was open, but only Joshua and Caleb had the courage to see beyond the giants and believe in God's promise. Everyone else saw the same door, but shrank back, and as a result, a whole generation missed what was already available to them. In your own life, there will be moments where God presents an open door that challenges your comfort zone. It may require you to leave behind the familiar, to let go of what feels safe, or to step into a space where you feel unqualified. That's why courage is essential. Walking through open doors is not about having all the answers. It's about trusting that God has already gone before you. Courage silences the voice of insecurity and pushes past the whispers of fear. It declares, if God opened this door, then He intends for me to walk through it. Remember, doors are time sensitive. They do not remain open forever. Every delay risks forfeiting destiny. So when you see the door, do not pause to overthink or wait for everyone to approve. Take the step, walk boldly, and embrace what God has already made available for you. Delay is not denial, it's preparation for release. One of the greatest frustrations in life is waiting. You pray, you sow, you work, and yet the answer seems slow to manifest. It's easy in those moments to assume God has forgotten you or that His promises will never come to pass. But what feels like delay is often God's way of aligning timing, circumstances, and even your own character to be ready for the wait of what He's about to deliver. Delay is not God saying no. More often it is God saying, not yet. Because I'm still preparing you and preparing the place where I'm sending you. Consider David. He was anointed as king while still a shepherd boy. He carried oil on his head, but had to endure years of waiting before he sat on the throne. That season was not denial, it was preparation. Every battle with lions, bears, and giants was training for the weight of kingship. If God had given him the throne too soon, he would not have been ready to handle the responsibility. Likewise, what you call delay may actually be God's training ground, shaping your endurance, sharpening your vision, and strengthening your faith. Delay also tests your trust. Do you believe God's promise enough to keep walking, even when you can't see results? The womb of delay often births the most powerful testimonies. Because when the breakthrough finally comes, you will know it wasn't random. It was orchestrated. And when it comes in fullness, without sorrow, without missing pieces. So don't curse the delay. Don't mistake waiting for rejection. Instead, embrace it as divine preparation, because when the release finally arrives, it will be greater, fuller, and more purposeful than anything you could have received too early. Your next season is greater than your last struggle. Too often we define our future by the pain of our past. We carry yesterday's failures, heartbreaks, and disappointments as if they have the final say over tomorrow. But with God, every struggle is temporary, and every hardship is a setup for something greater. What you went through was real. It hurt. It stretched you. It tested you. But it was not the end of your story. The very fact that you survived it is proof that there is more ahead. Struggle does not cancel destiny. It prepares you to step into it with wisdom, strength, and resilience. In Scripture, Job lost everything: family, possessions, health. His struggle was overwhelming, but it wasn't final. The Word declares that the latter part of Job's life was more blessed than the beginning. That is the essence of God's promise. The next season always outweighs the previous pain. What looked like loss is often fertilizer for growth. What seemed like a setback is the soil for a comeback. Your scars are not signs of defeat. They are evidence of survival and indicators of promotion. God never wastes a struggle. Every tear watered the ground for your breakthrough. Every battle trained your hands for greater victories. Every delay and disappointment positioned you for a divine release that could only come in its season. So don't let your last struggle define you. Let it refine you. Your story doesn't end in the valley. It moves toward the mountain. What's ahead is richer, fuller, and more rewarding than what's behind you. Step into it with expectation, because God's promise is not that you will merely recover what you lost, but that He will multiply, restore, and elevate you into a season that far surpasses the struggle you endured. You've heard it tonight. Your breakthrough is not some distant dream. It is here, it is now, and it is waiting on your response. Breakthrough begins when you recognize the moment. Favor is already working to position you where your effort alone could never carry you. The doors have been opened, but they require the courage of your faith to walk through them. What may have felt like delay has only been divine preparation, because God was getting you ready for the weight of the blessing. And no matter what your last season looked like, no matter how painful, how exhausting, or how disappointing, your next season will be greater than your last struggle. So tonight I declare, this is your time to rise, your time to shift, your time to step into the season of favor and open doors. Don't shrink back. Don't let fear rob you. Don't let your past define you. Lift up your head, square your shoulders, and walk boldly into the future that God has already prepared for you. The chains of yesterday are broken. The doors of tomorrow are unlocked. And the God who began a good work in you is faithful to bring it to completion. Your breakthrough is here. Your favor is here. Your season is here. Now it's up to you. Will you stand at the threshold, or will you step into destiny? Turn to somebody and tell them, I'm stepping in. I'm walking through. My breakthrough is here, and nothing can stop it.